Woohoo! Welcome to Hex Token channel. Hope this is going to be a bit of a fun show today. Of course, we're going to get into a lot of good stuff. If you have missed out on a lot of stuff, this is a great show for you to watch. We'll be catching up a lot of stuff, so it's going to be pretty cool to see. And yeah, let's get into it. I'm just going to test the sound, make sure it's all up and running, and then we're going to go from there. Sounds pretty good to me. So let's get into it, folks. All right, so I've got no poll on today, no poll. We've just got lots of stuff to cover, so we're going to get straight into things. But let's go through the comments and welcome everybody, of course. Welcome to Hex Token channel, and of course, I'm your host, Superman. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, and very cool. Well, let's get into it. So we've got fish tanks in the house early. Big shout out to Fish Tank for sure. And I might just put my sound on mute there. We got what else? We got a big welcome from me, of course. Brownie's in the house. Time to get popcorn ready. I love it there, Brownie. Very, very cool. Taffrin's in the house with the money bags, rockets, the shades, and the strong arms. And of course, I think Taffrin. I think you might have to add some diamond hands to that too, Taffrin. That list there. So cool. Kryptonic's in the house. Kura, a hex token from Whangarei, New Zealand. Kura, a Koto, a Katoa, Hexicans. Woo-hoo-hoo. A nice one, Kryptonic. That was a pretty nice message there. A big shout out. I've obviously posted a lot of really cool emojis. Those emojis are for members, and members have got those. They look beautiful in the chat, the emojis. Very cool. I'm going to post some woohoo emojis. Let me just post all those. Nice. So they're looking really good. Big shout out to Brazology for those, of course. Gave the woohoo design. Very nice. We've got Alex Fame in the house. Oh, yeah. Woohoo. And hey, Kryptonic newbie. Woohoo. Member. I have to do the bow, as always. I have to do the bow for the new members. Kryptonic, welcome to the membership of the Hex Token channel. Big shout out to you. You've got the emojis. You've got the Richard Hart fist pump channel thing. I love that. It's so attitudinal, right? I love that fist pump with there. So, yeah, pretty cool. 3D goes to the front of the camera there. Very, very nice. So, welcome, Kryptonic, to the membership. Jamie's in the house as well. Woohoo! And Alex K's in the house. Let's catch up on everything, says Alex K. A big shout out to Alex K, head moderator on this channel. Big shout out. Super knowledgeable Alex K is about crypto. So it's wonderful having him in the chat there. Brownie's in the house as well with the money bags. Woohoo! And cookies and cream as well. Woohoo! And Hexy Texicans in the house. Woohoo! To you as well. And Francia's there. Hello, Francia. And Prince of Pulse. How's it, Prince of Pulse? Great to see you in the chat there. Man, Pulsechain, Hex, PulseX, incentive token. We're in the dream team. We're in the dream team of projects. Amazing. And Hex Force is in there. Good evening, everybody. Good to see Hex Force. Brownie says Richard Hart has put a new meaning to diamond hands. Absolutely changing the course of crypto history. Is he leading us in to the way it is? He something like that. So pretty cool. I'd love to see a Star Wars theme to that. It'd be pretty nice. And Francia's got hello, and Matt and Barley's in the house. Hey, y'all, all front seat today. Woohoo! And Matt's got he's got the Bintang beers. You think he's got the Bintang beers? Yep. And Kryptonic is in the house. Says it's posting. Yeah, boy, your first emojis, Kryptonic, as a member, looking cool, looking sweet. So big shout out to Kryptonic in the house. So very, very cool. Now, obviously, if you want to join as a member, hit the join button. We've got Pulsicans, Hexicans, and the Richard Hart Club. So get in there as we promote Pulsechain, PulseX, and Hex well into the future. 2022 and 2023, I've said from the beginning, is going to be the year of virality. And, of course, the big whales are going to start coming in their droves. So it's going to be pretty exciting as well. Hey, we've got Sam and SB's in the house as well. Posting is awesome. So great to see another Hex Token channel member there as well. Hey, folks, that's a pretty good welcome. I hope you guys get into the chat, get active. And, of course, big shout out. Let's get into some stuff. We're going to be going through a lot of stuff. So here we go, folks. We're getting straight into PulseX. And, of course, here is the PulseX.com. This is the official site. We've got $368,800 US, folks, sacrificed on the Ethereum chain alone, which is pretty awesome. We've got 19 hours and 40 minutes to go. I always want to say 19 hours and 40 days. I don't know what that is. 40 days, 40 nights. I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. 19 hours and 40 minutes to go until another 5% increase. And man, oh man, we hit the big one today, halfway through up the curve. We are halfway up there. And wow, can't rate 10,000 points per $5. So 10,000 points per $5, folks. That is where we're at, man, oh man. So remember, for people that are new to PulseX, we've got base points, PulseX base points, and then we've got the volume multiplier, which ranks you proportionally against everyone else. And of course, the base points is the 10,000 PulseX points for $5. So if you imagine a price of 0.0005, that is where you're wanting the market price to get to break even. But of course, that would be a lower break even price if you had a volume multiplier that was pretty decent too. All right, so the rate per 10,000, we can see that we've been climbing up. Here we are on we've just finished day 44. We're now in day 45. So we've got the vertical assets there of 45 of 59. And of course, we are up there at the $5 mark exactly, right in the middle there. Wow. So let's just take a moment to think about this at this stage. Hopefully most of you are sacrificed already, but that is the way it's going at the moment. So $5 per 10,000 points. That is pretty getting up there now. I probably suggestions the last day or two has pretty much been to probably better to buy Hex and get a copy of Hex on the Pulsechain, maybe a better avenue for you. Once again, not investment advice. You've got to do your own due diligence, but it's probably the case at this stage. Very cool. Let us jump over to the PulseX.info site. This is the official site for actually doing the sacrifices. And I really just cover this for the new people that may be coming along, want to do PulseX sacrifice. If you are intent on getting in there, basically this is the DAP, which shows you the step-by-steps that you need to do. So pretty much everyone that's sacrificing on the Ethereum chain is sacrificing this address, OX075, and ends in DDC8. So everyone's pretty much sacrificing that address. And of course, you're sacrificing for the freedom of association. You don't get this crypto back once you sacrifice. It's really, that's what it is. You're sacrificing for the cause, and the cause is freedom of association and stuff like that. So definitely check that out. You can read the full details as well and the disclaimer down the bottom there. So just check that out if you want to. The other side, of course, if you're on Ethereum or any compatible chain like Binance Smart Chain or Polygon Matic, you can sacrifice to this address here. And it's as simple as sending crypto from your address like you would send crypto to a friend. But this time you're sending it to the sacrifice address for PulseX, and that's how easy it is. Now, what tokens or coins do you use? Well, typically popular ones are probably the best way to go. They easily get registered, no issues. And of course, you're talking about ETH, BNB, Matic, DAI, Uni, stable coins, USDC, USD Tether, all that good stuff. And of course, the Hex itself. So Hex as well, you could send that. So cool. The other side, of course, if you want to send to any of these other addresses, Bitcoin Cash, etc., just follow steps 1 to 3, and you'll be able to do that as well. Just follow the instructions very carefully. And I always say, if you're a bit nervous, just do a small sacrifice. And if you have a particular target of US dollars that you want to sacrifice equivalent, then just do a small one. If that goes all well, then do your full amount once you're happy with that. It's always a good way of entering something new there. So that's it, folks. I hope that helps some of the newbies there coming in. Let's jump over to the main event. Of course, this is the main event for Pulse Sacrifice. So we're going to get into this. And here we go. So this is Ethereum chain, Binance Smart Chain, and Polygon Matic. And of course, 1 billion, folks. 1 billion, 20,845,160 US dollars sacrificed on these three chains. Amazing. And of course, if we add up the other chains like Bitcoin, other stuff, we're definitely around that 1 billion and 50 million mark, give or take a few mil. So pretty exciting there in total. Our total sacrifice of PulseX points, or Pulse is PulseX, I should say, is 17,181 billion. That's a big number, folks. So if you add that up, it's actually 17,181 billion. So it's a big number. And of course, 985 million on there as well. So pretty big number there, folks. That is the public sacrifice so far as an estimate. Obviously, doesn't include the other chains, like Bitcoin and other stuff. But that is the public estimate at the moment. Obviously, the other side of it, of course, doesn't include those other chains, but also doesn't include the Origin account, which we're expecting, given the typical game theory to come in the last couple of days after the volume multiplier is finished from the 21st to the 25th there. So we're expecting that to come in. So in total, probably get, I haven't done this calculation, but probably for a little while, but probably 180 to 200 trillion is what we're expecting. Pulse chain is around about 135 trillion. Give you a comparison there. Pretty cool. All right, so let me just go back down here. We've got the total wallets now 131,669. We've got 7 wallets that are over 10 million. Nothing's changed there. And obviously they get the highest volume multiplier. That's the second component. Of course, that goes from 1 to 2.5. And of course, we can see the big whales are getting the high one up towards 2.5 there. And very exciting to see that. So cool. We've also going to scroll down a bit further, have a look at the Magic Carpet Ride. That is a pool or a syndicate. So sometimes people get together in a group and they try to get a higher volume multiplier, that second component, and by getting a higher US dollar amount. And so that's a pretty good trick. I myself am in a little pool syndicate, but this is a public one. So that means that some people are running it in America from the looks of it, and they run a big spreadsheet. They got the YouTube channels, they got the Telegram, they get everyone in, and of course people sacrifice to their addresses, and it gets recorded on the Excel spreadsheet, and then of course they sacrifice that. So that's where they're at the moment. They have sacrificed a massive 4.2 million. That blew. I think they were thinking $1 million would be fantastic. They have blitzed that with 4.26 million. And of course, they're getting a multiplier of around about 2.14, 2.15. Pretty impressive. And they are at number 21 out of all these wallets, 131,669, number 21. So congratulations to all those small players that are in there that ended up getting whale-sized multipliers. That is pretty amazing. Let's see what they've sacrificed, of course. We always have to look at that. So February the 10th was their last ones. And they did about, maybe $1,000 there on Thursday the 10th was the last one they did. Cool. Now, I understand they're doing liquid loans, of course, and I understand that they've actually got a sacrifice amount over $1 million US ready for that sacrifice when liquid loans comes up. But we're going to talk more about that at the end of the live stream, just as a quick reference, because it's been they've got a really cool presentation this has come out. So we're going to cover that. So that's pretty cool. Let's have a look. There's still probably about 112, 113 millionaires that have sacrificed for PulseX on these chains. To get in the top 100, you need 1.2 million. That will give you a multiplier of about 1.93, and that's where that's at the moment. Let's scroll down to the top 500, and we're going to go all the way down the bottom there. So you need $202,843 to get in the top 500. That'll give you a multiplier of about, that's a volume multiplier of about 1.68. And let's have a look at the top 1,000. And now top 1,000 is pretty interesting because this will control the majority of the supply. Remember, the total supply of PulseX is going to be at the beginning, and then there's going to be a magical buy and burn. That is what expected, and then it's going to decrease the supply over time, and it's going to be like nothing else on Planet Crypto. This is something absolutely going to be mind-blowing because the AAM bot, the automatic market maker bot, is going to harvest all the yield farms and DEX's stuff and put it into one place. We're going to have more pairs and more trading. It's going to be insane. And of course, that's going to be a massive buy and burn. $1 billion would equal about $600,000 of buy and burn each day. Even if no one else is buying or selling, it's just going to be doing buy and burn. Now, we don't know exactly how that's going to play out because it's not automatic now. But there's a couple of theories around that. We've talked about that before. It's going to be pretty exciting. Regardless, it's going to be pretty cool. So anyway, to get in the top 1,000, you need $101,157 to get in there, and that's a volume multiplier of 1.58, folks. So it gives you a good idea. And of course, like I say, they'll be controlling the majority of supply, maybe 70, 75%, something like that. Let's have a look at our final category, top 5,000. We're going to scroll down, and you need $20,090 to get in the top 5,000 at the moment. And of course, that's a volume multiplier of 1.33. So congratulations to everybody in the top 5,000. Very cool. There's now 131,669 wallets. Now, just as a little tip, some people do Genesis wallets, so they'll sacrifice at the very bottom. Maybe they'll do $10 worth of sacrifice just so they get a couple of the Genesis wallets in case there's some airdrops from lots of projects that want to airdrop to the Genesis wallets. So that might be a little trick for you to think about. Maybe just have a couple, of extra wallets that you've sacrificed from. And that's probably, just a little tip from me to you if you haven't done that before. So very, very cool. All right, so let's jump over to the stats and see what, actually, we're going back to the leaderboard. We're going to have a look by tokens at the moment. So we've got 555, almost 556 million US dollars on Hex sacrificed. And of course, that's 2,176 million Hex that's been sacrificed on the ETH chain. That's in the sacrifice address. We kind of see it like a brother and sister to the Origin account. And of course, in the same family and acting as kind of an operational manager as one might argue. And of course, that's going to have the Hex on the ETH chain. And so when there's a copy over onto Pulsechain and they pop up as PRC20s, the sacrifice address will also own the Hex on Pulsechain. So that's all stuff that we view as off the market based on previous behavior. So very, very exciting. We are expecting Hex to be sacrificed by the Origin account as well. Really, it's just swapping hands from a brother to a sister, as it were. And so we are expecting that to be the place rather than something else being sacrificed. So very, very cool there too. And that's probably around about 7.5%, and probably got over 5 billion Hex from memory sacrificed on both Pulsechain and PulseX. So pretty amazing. That's so perfect. And of course, when all the Hex stakes were coming out, these sacrifices were perfectly running across all those big stakes coming out, allowing people to sacrifice the Hex, get that off the market. And so that's very bullish for Hex going forward. Very nice indeed. Now, the other thing, of course, we've got Ethereum at number 2 at 242 million, I should say, and $0.3 million. We've got USDC at $108.8 million. We've got USD Tether at $48 million and BUSD at 17.3. Those are the top 5. Obviously that excludes any of the other altcoins. And of course, they start to get of interest around this area at the bottom here, because like Bitcoin's a pretty big sacrifice too. So nice. We've got BNB at 15.2 million. We've got DAI at 6 million, Matic at 5 million, AVAX at 3.6, and Wrap Bitcoin at 3.4 million. There are top 10. Bam, bam. I needed little markers, you know. What's it like? My Life is Awesome. He has the ping, ping. I was at Pulsechain, ping, Hex, ping. I love it. I love it. So good. All right, so we got a ping, 10, the top 10. Those are the top 10. Now, the cool 2 themes that are there, of course, are the fact that there's over $600 million of sacrifice across Pulsechain and PulseX and US dollar stables. Man, that's like a war chest. You can thump your chest with that. That's a war chest for sure. And that's what's one of the many fundamentals that are in this ecosystem. It is crazy how many fundamentals there are. And of course, you could add a bit list how many there are. There is pretty amazing a number of fundamentals. And of course, on top of that, we also have the fact that a lot of people have sacrificed other DEXs tokens. You know, you've got Pancake here, you got Uniswap, you got SushiSwap, you've got Quick, and a few others there. So it's pretty impressive. And of course, we're expecting hundreds of thousands of those yield farmers to come over to the biggest yield farming opportunity in crypto history. Not only that, but a lot of those people will have their big free airdrops as well. PRC20s jumped onto the there as well, that they can actually match up with pools. That will be like a heaven's delight for these yield farmers, folks. They're going to be crazy in love with that. Now, if you've done yield farming, you'll know that this is true. It's going to be like a feeding frenzy. It really will be crazy stuff. So excited to see that. Of course, on top of that, of course, people have got to spread the word. So get out there and to spread a word to all the teams. We've got this run up before it goes live on Pulsechain. The community has, can actually do a lot to just promote. So just get out there, encourage you, and spread the word, because it's going to be pretty awesome. Let's separate the chains out. We've got BSC is yellow. We've got Ethereum is white, and pink is Polygon. So we can see that Ethereum's the top 1 to 4. And then, of course, BSC is the number 5 to number 7 top sacrifice, followed by obviously AVAX at number 10. But we've got Polygon there sitting at number 16 and number 18 with USDC and Matic there. So those are our top ones there by the chains. I think that's a pretty good breakdown. So a big shout out to the actual chain manager. Let me just hide the comment there. Let me just get rid of that for a second. So you can see a big shout out to Game System 10, who gave us the site. So if you want to give throw a few little dollars of crypto his way, it's on the donate buttons at the top right there. Always like to give a shout out and credit to the people that give us this free info to use. So just a shout out to that. Let's jump down, of course, to the sacrifice for day. So we're going to do day 44. And of course, a really good sacrifice today and yesterday. So day 43, 44 have been really good. We had $1,364,000 sacrificed day 44. And that's compared to yesterday. That is even slightly higher than yesterday at 1,351,000. And of course, before that, we were having 1.1 on day 42, 1.1 on day 41. And then day 40, we had 976,000 and so on, and 927 on day 39. So we have actually had some really nice increases in the sacrifice rate, even though the rate's going higher. The actual dollar amounts have gone higher. So pretty amazing, folks, for that. And I thought that's a pretty highlight. And of course, we ended up day 44 with a final balance of 1,020,611,000, which is crazy, right? And already day 45 has started, of course. We're about how far through? We're 4.5 hours through. Pretty much we're always 4.5 hours through, because I normally do the live stream about this time. But we're $237,000, almost $238,000 already. And we're only 4.5 hours through. So it looks like we'll have another good day in the office as well. I think at this time yesterday, we were at about 300,000. So we're still tracking pretty well there. And as you can see on this sort of heat map here, we're at a Hex is 54.46% of the amount sacrificed, folks. Amazing. Primarily across the Ethereum chain, but of course there is about 1.5 million on the Polygon chain as well that is Hex. And of course, I think what I worked out yesterday is something like 15% of the Hex over on Polygon Matic. There's about 7.98 million Hex on Polygon Matic, which is a second layer of Ethereum. And Polygon Matic actually gives us a few insights into the way Pulsechain might work and operate in terms of the number of transactions and fees and revenue and stuff like that. So it's a pretty good for comparison to Pulsechain, just with a few little insights there. And so we've talked about that quite a few times. So that, folks, is the live results and the results for day 44. Pretty cool, pretty cool. So we're going to jump into the PulseX rates, and we're going to wrap this up on the PulseX, and we'll come back to it later towards the end of the live stream for another update. But let's get into this. We're just scrolling down here. We're at $5. So day 45, $5. And of course, $1 now will get you 1,999 points. So if you're in the low multipliers, low volume multipliers, you're doing a couple $100, then you'll get about just under 2,000 for $5, which means that it's better for you if you haven't done any sacrifice, just to not sacrifice today and wait for day 55, because you'll get 2,147 points rather than that. So that's why all the stuff is red here, because it's pretty much better off for you to wait for day 55 if you haven't done anything before. So just take that into account. And under any case, that's probably be the case. But once again, if you've got a higher volume multiplier, you'll be better off. Obviously, the Magic Carpet Ride pool, or syndicate as we call them, is way up here at 2.1, 2.2. So they're somewhere, I just lost that, but they're somewhere still doing fairly well. Let's go to the day 30. What's the day? Let's have a look here. We'll go to day 45. So they're somewhere along here. They're still getting, like 4,000, maybe 4,200, something like that. Yeah. So they're still getting about 4,400 for every dollar they sacrifice. So they're still getting a pretty decent rate, like basically over twice. Of course, they got a 2.14, 2.15 multiplier. So it's basically that much more than what the people are getting down here who only got a multiplier just over 1. And doing a couple $100, for example. So pretty cool. And now the links to all this stuff, all these sites is in the video description. So the official site, PulseX.com, PulseX.info, the PulseXlead.com, and the spreadsheet are all in the video description. So you can check that out, save it to your favorites if you want. It's really good to build up a collection of Hex, Pulsechain, and PulseX sites. Very, very cool. So we're going to jump on to the Hex price next and the market results. Then we've got lots to talk about. To update about everything that's going on. It's going to be crazy good. Let's get into some of the chat there first and see what's going on. We got, where was I up to here? Just got to make sure I'm up to here. Cookies in Crypto says RH won that 555 diamond. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. The black diamond, now going to be called the Hex.com black diamond. It's going to be pretty awesome. And Brazology says we hit the big one today. It absolutely did. What's up? I made it. Go Hex, says Ryan. Hey, Ryan, good to see you in the chat. Very cool that you could make it today. And Brazology says Hex is at 21 cents. Nice. We're going to jump there soon. That's the next topic, is the Hex price. We're going to have a little breakdown. We're going to look at our DMI scenario and see how that's playing out, because that was doing pretty well. Whales are really suppressing us, says Brazology. Yeah, they're those whales. But we're going to talk about whales later in the live stream, because that's a pretty cool topic as well. And we've got Charity in the house. Can you explain a little bit about Richard Hart's tweet about staking PLX with PLX? That was a little confusing to me. And hello. Hey, Charity. Yeah, so basically that was actually staking PLX, but actually earning the incentive token. So you're not staking PLX to earn PLX. You're staking PLX to earn the incentive token. So that's what that is, Charity. Hopefully that's a simple explanation there. It's not like pancake swaps where you actually stake a cake and earn cake. It's not like that. Craig Waiting says, woo-hoo-hoo. Now, cool. Now, there was a good, just talking about the incentive token, there was a good little discussion on, whose shows was it? It was, let me see. Let me go over here and have a look. I'm pretty sure. I just forgot. Crypto Cabana, Cabana Crypto was on there. They had a nice little discussion there. So on some solutions from the asset side, you think about, you've got an assets solutions. You've also got a liability or lending solutions to the incentive DAO. I've said the other day on many occasions, the one thing we don't have at the moment is a good tokenomics for the incentive token at this stage, apart from the expectation of future value for it. So that's the only obviously at the moment. So I've always talked about getting stuff staked more. Of course, the being able to stake at PulseX would be a beautiful solution for PulseX, because we've got all these solutions for Pulse at the moment to get Pulse off the market and make it more scarce, faster than just the fee burn and the buy and burn. So that was the cool thing. So people are looking at the incentive second token. I also think that there's they were talking about an asset solution, linking it back in through to the validators, which I think, it's more complicated, but it is some merit to that. On the other hand, I was thinking there's actually quite simple solutions like liquid loans that could easily be on the lending side, where you collateralize your incentive token, you don't spend it, and then of course you borrow off it with a stable coin, and you take that stable coin, you can pair that up with all sorts of other pairs, and it actually gives more buying power onto existing tokens, PLX, Pulse, incentive token itself, or whatever. So there is some solutions to merit to that, and of course that actually helps give a more sustainable incentive price as well. So there are other solutions to do, and that's why I've always said, there's going to be a lot of third-party DApps come onto the market that will try to attract your PLS, try to attract your Pulse, try to attract your incentive tokens, attract your Hex. You got to have really good, strong discretion and very good patience when you get faced with all those opportunities. So like I say, sometimes the simplest strategy is the very best. Just stake in the most obvious, safest place. Just earn that bit more volume, wait for the price to go up, and you'll be laughing yourself silly. You won't have taken on too many risks and stuff. Sometimes so those solutions are quite good. You just lock up the tokens, borrow USDL like in liquid loans. That's a lot better proposition if you are going to take on a bit more risk from, for example, with the stable coins that you borrow. So there are a few opportunities there. What else we got going? Craig says, howdy all. Hey, Craig Wedding, great to see you in the chat. And we look forward to see you again on Hex is the Way show, Craig. So that'll be looking forward to that. And HODL4 PulseX says liquid loans is a serious concern. Liquidity of ETH day of launch, they did a 9x, then dumped 95 with no recovery for 2 years now. So that is definitely a risk on that side. We actually went through all that the other day, so check that out, HODL4. But their biggest issue, I think, has been the ETH fees on that chain. So just take that into account. Francia says, woohoo! Hey, Francia, good to see you. Black Diamond in the house. I love Black Diamond, man. It's so good. It was so left field from Richard. And, man, it got on the media in Italy, on the media TV news in Italy. It was on Fox News in the United States. It was on in Poland, I believe, and a couple other European countries about the Black Diamond. It really did get quite a lot of press. It was in a lot of big articles. We saw that. I posted a couple the other day. It really was a big deal. So really cool on that. Property Review says, love this show. Hey, Property Review, great to see you in the chat as always. And we've got the strong arm from level 01. Very cool. Very cool. What else? We've got John Gibbon says, will the supply of PHEX be 10 times the supply of EHEX? Don't think so there, John. It's just going to get copied over. So that's just the way it's going to go. The inflation rate will probably be subtly different over time. But other than that, it's just going to get copied over. John Gibbon says, also, will a PHEX share rate ratchet up immediately, and then when I in stake start day one? If you've got a very big stake, John, it will. Otherwise, it's going to be a slow progression, but they will start to separate. The T share rates will start to separate. The share price will start to separate over time, but I wouldn't expect it to be too dramatic straight out of the gate. It's now says like it up, absolutely. Now, with that said, John, we could see if there was any surprise emergency unstaking on ETH chain, and we're not sure if we're going to see that behavior, but it's possible. Then that might actually cause some some major shifts in the T share rate on ETH. So that'd be interesting to see that post launch. That would be interesting. Just not sure. There's a lot of penalties for people when they do that. So if you're holding T shares on ETH chain, you'd be laughing yourself silly with that. But it's going to be interesting to see that play out. Definitely, I think most people do accept the fact that because it's super cheap and super fast, easy for retail virality, that the Pulse chain will be at a premium. Have a premium added to it. So I think there's probably most people are pretty happy with that. Man Barley says, you are another room virtual hug. Hey, nice, Matt. And Brazil says, we need a Black Diamond sticker. We do. That's a good idea. We should get a Black Diamond. We need a Black Diamond emoji. That's a great idea. Well, if anyone's got a Black Diamond emoji, let me know. Maybe I could think of one myself. So we'll have a look at that. That's a good idea, Brazilji. Always coming up with good ideas. So thanks very much. Sandeep says, have a great day. Hey, big shout out to Kolkata, India. Good to see Sandeep in the house. And so Brazil says, I'm in a hex.com sticker. Yeah, that's right. So very cool. Hey, we're almost up to date with the chat, so I'm almost about to move on to the next topic. Man Barley says, from my understanding or watching other videos as well, a wallet might be that could be a perfect combo. And Matt says, also, is it real that we can claim a fraction of Pulse for free on Pulse.io, according to another great YouTuber? Well, no, it's not true because that stuff is not real, Matt. Now, they're going to be talking about giving up to $200 an hour free giveaway when they go live, but they're not talking about the fact that they've got an FP shares sacrifice. They're going to be running with that as well. So for me, that was a conflict of interest, and they didn't disclose that, so I wasn't happy with that. I stopped promoting free Pulse pretty straight out of the gate because I just felt that was misleading. So I would rather them just have been upfront about that. So how they're going to fund it from their own wallets as they've declared, or are they going to fund all that stuff from the FP shares fundraiser, and which has a whole ton of no expectations, but it may do all these things. So I was just a bit dubious. That's why I completely stopped talking about a free Pulse. Otherwise, I like the idea as a mass adoption, but then it was just like that just didn't stick well with me. Alex says Black Diamond buy showed up on TV and even in Ukraine. Yeah, it did, Alex. I saw one of those links. It was pretty huge. So Black Diamond was a huge thing, and I think a lot more can be used of it in the future. I think it's going to be pretty good. Francesca says, ha, 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 nice one. All right, so Matt says it's only for test OH. Damn, yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. No, you're welcome. Let's get on to it, folks. Next topic. I'm going to put a contents timestamp as usual. We're going to get into Hex Price, and here we are, folks. But let me just grab a drink, and yeah, it's going to be looking good. We're waiting for this price to take off, but it's going to happen. All right, so here we are, folks. We've just got the price action. I like to keep it nice and clean. We're currently at 21.067 cents, so that's pretty nice. This is Hex versus US dollar on the V3 pool. And, of course, remember there's 4 pools, 2 USD ones and 2 ETH ones on Uniswap. And we're almost at the top of the Bollinger Bands there. So pretty cool that we're at the top rather than the bottom, that's for sure. And, of course, that's the top 95% prices is the top blue one. The bottom blue is the bottom 5%. The red one in the middle is the 50% mark. And, of course, we're looking pretty nice there in that region as well. Now, volumes are reasonably modest. And, of course, we've had a mixture of big buying, big selling going on. But we're just holding off there pretty nicely. Let's see if we scroll back just with the price action. We can see that we typically get a lot of these type of patterns in Hex. Get a big rise, sort of a slightly smaller rise, a big rise, a little bit of choppy, but smaller rise, a big rise, a smaller rise, etc. Then a big rise, a bit of choppy, small rise. And then, of course, we're all expecting us to get some sort of big rise. But how is it going to happen? We're going to get another little bump here, and then we're going to go through the roof. So we'll think about that. Not actually sure. I've lost some of my charting stuff. So there we are. All right, let's add in the structure. And, of course, let's have a look at that, how that's going. And let me just scroll that back. That's a little bit muddled. Let's have a look how far. We've got the purple line here is the end of the PulseX Sacrifice. So we're going to queue that up. We're going to see how many days. We're on day 45, and we know it's going to be day 59. We've got the 13 days. We're under 2 weeks, folks, including today, 2 weeks and under. Very exciting. So it's starting to count down, man. It's starting to get real, but we don't have Pulsechain testnet 3 yet. We do not have that yet. So we've got to be pragmatic with our expectations about the timing. That's just the reality, eh? So nice. And there we go. So let's have a look here. I think this green still holds. We might have a bit of a pullback, then a bit of a rise, something like this. And then we're going to get that rally. That rally is going to come. We're going to have to wait for it, I think. Now, I've got the earliest time frame here, of course. I'm not sure if you can see that on the chart there. Oh, it shows up, but I've lost the dates here. Let me just refresh this chart and make sure that will come up again. So it's no use talking about the dates without the dates on there as we go. So waiting for that to refresh. And bam, let's pull that up and go full screen. Hopefully the dates are going to add on there now. Yes, we got the dates. Cool. Looking good there. So, yeah, we've got the dates here. So, the 25th of February there, and hopefully they're showing up. They are. And, of course, I've got the date 1 week to 3 weeks. So, the blue lines there, the baby blue lines are 1 week to 3 weeks after PulseX finishes. That was kind of the earliest time to launch. But the fact that we don't have PulseX 3 yet, that makes me just a bit hesitant about the fact that it could be flowing into April. At a more realistic date. Now, some people are also still putting it out saying maybe May, maybe June, something like that. But I think we're doing pretty well. The only thing that has my reservation is their AMM bot code. automatic make a code. I'm tongue twisting those words, but that's basically what we're waiting for, and we're not sure how much code has been written, how difficult that's going to be, etc. And of course, how many different pools, how many different dexes they're going to harvest on that in practice. So waiting for that all to come out. But other than that, we're tracking pretty well, and we will have this happen at some stage. So whether it translates over at some stage, we just don't know. So it's going to move into April, early April, something like that. Now the market of the whales might move it earlier, and I think that we're actually building up into a nice zone. I really do think this zone at the moment is the last time you're going to be able to get Hex at this price. And of course, not investment advice, but it really does look like that on the chart, that we are running out of time. Whoever's going to be picking up some Hex, I don't think it's going to last too long. You might get one little dip left, maybe back to 18.6 cents, but that's probably the last time you might see that. So I really do think it's gearing up for the big rise, and of course the volumes down here indicative that we definitely might get some big buying. But let's have a look at our DMI and see what that's telling us as well. This is what we want to play out. We want the buyer's direction to go up. Of course, we want the seller's direction in red to go down, and of course we want the orange one momentum to go up. And of course you got the direction right, then you got the level of momentum, and we want that orange line to go over the yellow line. It's 25 at the moment. We're not seeing that. We're not seeing that at the moment. So really, it still just looks like a period to actually accumulate before we get that big rocket price that we're expecting. Because we know that when the Pulsechain test 3 goes on, if it's going really well, if it's nice and short, maybe 2 weeks long, I don't know, whatever, something like that, then we get that fork height, and of course the mainnet goes live, everything. There's going to be a massive rush. Everyone wants to get that Hex before the block height, and they want to get into the play to get that free airdrop as well. So it's going to be a crazy time for that. So that's why we're expecting that big price rise. But at the moment, we were almost getting the right thing a couple of days ago, but it has not headed that way at the moment. We've got the price and the sellers and the buyers converging here at the moment. So if we remove all that structure, you can see that they're converging at the moment. So sellers are down a little bit, but it's pretty much converging, and the momentum is still down. So we want that to all reverse over. So we've still got a couple of days more to wait and see how that happens. But I definitely think that that's kind of our target. Once we see that happen, then, man, we should be getting very bullish. And this will be able to give us a bit of direction about where this price is going to take off. But definitely 2 weeks to go. It's not a long time at all. The RSI, of course, is actually holding up reasonably well here. And, of course, if it does come back a little bit, it'll just give us more room to rise up for our price rally that we're expecting. Very, very cool. All right, so there's a bit of a price review there. Let us go into the hourly, and we're going to get rid of the coverage there as well. Bam, and you can see just where we are at the moment in the hourly. So just zigzagging along really at this moment. Like I say, I think this is kind of an opportunity, possibly in the next couple of days, some of the last opportunities, maybe up to 7 days for people to accumulate some Hex before it. Once it goes, and everyone starts crying about it. You know, I wish I could have bought some. You know, the old thing. Everyone's in the chat. Oh, I wish I could have. It's kind of, it's entertaining, at least. All right. So once again, you got to pick up. If you're not in it, you're not going to win it, right? You're not in it, you're not going to win it. If you're not going to stake Hex, for example, you're not going to earn the HexPo T-shares. It's that simple. You've got to, make some decisions. That's just the way it goes. So cool. All right. Fun aside, let's have a look at the crypto markets. We've got obviously a bit of a pullback here. Inflation came in the US, as we said on this live stream. We said, I bet you that we argued that inflation was not going to be transitory. Inflation was going to rise. That's what we're seeing. The market's reacting, of course. The Fed Reserve is kind of trapped. And of course, we've had a bit of a pullback in the crypto here, as you can see. So still looking good, though. Still looking pretty good level, to be honest. And these are pretty modest pullbacks for crypto, if you ask me. So not too bad. Couple $100 on Ethereum, still holding up at key areas there. Once again, Bitcoin, if it's going to make a nice big move up, it needs to get back over 50K and hold over there strongly. So, a couple of days. So before it moves up again. So that's going to be a big struggle. We've already said that's going to be a big task to try and get back over 50K in the current climate. So the Fed Reserve, in March, expected to have a rate rise. Are they going to do 4 this year? And of course, even with the rate rises, they're going to hardly do anything to inflation. If inflation is 7.5 and increasing, we know that a lot of that inflation is coming from the energy sector, which is, policies being run by the administration are terrible. Of course, they've created a lot of these problems. And of course, we also know the supply constraints issues. So we've got fuel and all that going up through the roof. We've got the US dollar strengthening. We've got long-term bond yields rising up 2%. Got lots of stuff like that happening, right? So it is just early warning signs to the market, and we'll see how far they go. I think the Fed's actually kind of trapped. I think they're kind of we're gonna do inflate. They said inflation is going to be transitory and we'll hold off. But then they said, oh, but now that looks like it's actually here to stay and it's very high. Then we're going to actually start the fight. But are they really going to fight, or are they just going to do a few little opening salvos and make it look like, because they're really kind of trapped, right? So they either get into more monetary printing and let inflation just go run its course, or so forth. So I actually think that the best situation is they can't actually make interest rates rise high enough to actually really dent inflation. The best thing is actually to focus on lowering the costs and increasing the supply. I think a fundamental approach is a far better avenue, but they have to hit that hard and running. But of course, the administration is clueless about that stuff because they've created a lot of the problems that we're currently in now. So that's kind of the place we're at the moment with the crypto. Let's jump over to the timeline at the moment. So this is pretty cool. I have updated this, so we're going to get into this in a moment. So this is the Pulsechain PulseX timeline, and we've just got at the moment Pulsechain. Let me just update my period here on that one. So we're at I'm on the right days there. Yeah, we're at 61 days, folks. So this is Pulsechain 2, testnet 2. This yellow line, I should say, is Pulsechain testnet 2, and this is 61 days now. Been running 61 days. Pulsechain testnet. This is the end of that line there. That was testnet 1 that ran 77 days. So we're already up to 61 days. So we're only 16 days behind the original testnet. So it makes it we don't know when it's going to finish. And we are still expecting a Pulsechain testnet 3. Richard has kept confirming that. Whether it's a mirage is another question. That's another a risky scenario. But we just got to take the fact that if it's not a mirage, then something really going to happen. And of course, that will be a final test run if we look at that. Well, how long is it going to be? I've got it here for 2 weeks at the moment, from the 14th through to the what date's the date? 11th. Yeah, I've got it running through from the 14th through to the 28th, but we just don't know when that's going to run. If it's soon, that's very bullish. If we get that Pulsechain testnet sooner than later, it's a very bullish for me for an earlier launch of Pulse testnet. But we'll wait and see how that goes. It could be further out. We could end up slipping into much of March with the Pulsechain testnet 3, especially if the AMM bot has more coding to do. So that's one of the issues there. So cool. The other side, of course, we've got lots of things happening, and we're going to get into a lot of this during the live stream. It's going to be pretty cool. But that's the key one there. That's the Pulsechain testnet 2, still running 61 days. We've had a very good MVP gradual release. Richard has delivered that. That's looking beautiful. Of course, we've covered that on many videos, playing around with all the different front dApps there, and they work very well indeed. Of course, Pulsechain testnet 3, we're expecting to have the AMM bot run, the balances, of course, for the sacrifices, and of course the PulseX incentive token stuff as well. It'd be interesting to see whether Richard comes out with tokenomics for that. I am expecting him to do something around the incentive token and to enhance its value. So we've talked about, like I say, there's asset side solutions, and there's also liability sides or lending. So there's earnings, as you might interest for a worse word, or you've got something like a lending or a collateralized lending solutions on the other side. You've got a couple options there to try and enhance its value. And if some of those may or may not include looping back around through the Pulsechain, back around. So you may or may not need those solutions. You could have something much cleaner outside the system, like a third-party dApp, like liquid loans, for example, is one possible solution. So cool on that. So we've got lots of social stuff coming up here, so we're going to cover that too. Now, here is the big deal. We've got Daytona500 coming up. All right, so the 20th, and of course, there's some qualification races for that, and that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for our racer to get into that, but he's a very good driver, so we're waiting to see that play out. The other one, of course, is that funding gym, the Billionaire Liaison, as we call him, has been doing some pretty awesome stuff. They have a Twitter room spaces coming up from I think it's the 21st, if I have my time right. Let me just double check. Yeah, the 21st to the 25th. Is coming up, 96 hours, and it's going to be a Twitter room spaces. This is a big deal. And of course, they're going to be running that with Funding Gym. They're going to have Peter Schiff versus Richard Hart during that time. Obviously, Peter Schiff is a big gold bug, and of course, has been preaching doom and gloom about the market since 2008. and probably well before that. So he's coming out there. So it's going to be gold versus crypto in particular. Of course, the Hex, which is really the golden standard of crypto these days. So it's going to be an interesting battle there right in the middle. That's going to be pretty cool. Kiyosaki may or may not be there, but is booked in at the moment, and other big names as well. There's also going to be other large influencers at that as well. Over 500,000 followers. There's going to be a lot of big influencers running over 96 hours. There's going to be Twitter room spaces. It's going to be on YouTube. And, of course, the community. That's you and I have a big role to play in spreading the word out there. So not spamming everybody, but spreading the word to people that it would actually make a real influence to, and spreading that out. Because this is the year of mass adoption, folks. You and I both have a big role to play in that. So we've got to keep up the good stuff. But they're holding the venues. They're giving us content to spread. And man, oh man, they've got big personalities in here. It's going to be pretty cool. The highest of stakes will probably be watching this too, videoing this. The Peter Schiff would be a major character in that highest of stakes video. So it's going to be pretty cool as well. So a big shout out to Funding Jim for setting up some of these very critical discussions with incredibly wealthy and knowledgeable and successful people. So that's you couldn't ask for better there. Very cool. HexScale, we had a bit of a hint. Finally, we got a bit of hint from Kinetics in the last 24 hours that's almost here. So obviously, Mountain Crypto Advisors is already up and running. People can get professional advice, tax, and all that sort of stuff as part of that crew. But the investment trust, the Hex Investment Trust, or the HexScale as we like to call it, that is coming up a pretty, that looks pretty imminent. They're just about finished with the final legal side of that, so we're going to get into that too. That's pretty much, they've got a private placement that they had to get over the line with the legal work, so private placement for investments as opposed to something public, but the public one will also be in play as well. Then they've got to have the PP, the private placement in place so they can actually accept money, and they've got the AML and KYC all set up. So they are just about there to expect money, folks. So that will be money that's coming in to buy Hex, folks. Just let you know that. And of course, they'll likely fix up, have a trust with Pulsechain as well. Wouldn't be surprised whether they either do that later or they've already got it on their books that could launch pretty soon too. So when Pulsechain launches, obviously you have to wait for Pulsechain to launch. But man, oh man, the Hex is up first, and that's going to take a lot of surprises. We're talking about the Hex price and going up, but man, oh man, when this new big buying starts coming in, it's going to be crazy good, folks. So look forward to that. So that's a big surprise there. So we've got lots of good things coming up. We've also got, of course, the HexPo Vegas with Matty Allen running in March. So you can see we've got Daytona. We've got the Twitter room spaces with the big people profiles. This is huge for social media. We've got the HexPo coming up. It really, really is pretty exciting. So nice stuff there. So, and of course, the highest of stakes is doing some amazing filming at the moment. And of course, got a big, huge amount of money given from the Overwatch Rackham Rochelle, giving $500,000 to that, in addition to what the Hex God Whale gave. So amazing stuff there. Big shout out to those whales out there, Hex God Whale and Rackham Rochelle. Very, very cool for that. So that is the timeline update, folks. Hopefully that's pretty cool. It's everything in one spot. I like that. And of course, maybe the earliest that time we can get a launch is a March to April there, but I've got March at the moment. We'll see how we get on. If we can jump onto Pulsechain 3 earlier than later, then we can get a lot more bullish about the timeline and then how long that lasts for. Is it 7 days, 10 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or is it even longer? We'll find out in due course. Obviously, we want the software to launch perfectly well, so we take your time, get that up and running. So that's the key things we want. So cool. All right, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was pretty cool. We're going to jump on to the rest of the call. We've got so much stuff to talk about, folks. It's going to be really, really cool. Cameron says, oh, man, oh, man. Yeah, oh, man, oh, man. And Charity says, do you think Richard Hart will have some sort of surprise benefits to the reward token? Seems unlike him to have being boring and do nothing. I think so, Charity. That's what we're waiting for. Of course, they had a good chat, as we say, on Crypto Cabana. They're talking about a solution into the validating, adding PulseX into the validators, either as a separate contract or built-in. Obviously, if it was a built-in, it would take a lot more longer time in coding. So it had some merits, but obviously simplicity is what you're always after, simplicity. And that's typically what is brilliant about a lot of the stuff that Richard does, is the simplicity. Big fire from Vinrix and Dingo and Wolves in the house a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Before the dinosaur, there was a 555 for 5 rock waiting to find its home. It's time, yeah. Otherwise known as the Enigma. I think the Fox News host said Enigma. She accidentally said Enigma, not Enigma, which is easy to do, right? It's easy to do when you're on the show, but man, it was funny. SB Max says, just stake my first Hex 555, only 1,000, but it's a start. Hey, nice, SB. Well done to you. And a big bow down for that. But you're going to get a copy on the Pulsechain. You're going to have 2 copies, 2 stakes. You're going to have two 555 stakes, man, oh man. And those tier shares will last a long time, and you will earn a lot of penalty interest from people. So very, very cool. You will be the big accounts in the future there, SB. Nice move. Man, Barley says 555 is a winner. Yeah, a winner for sure. Thoughts on Hedron, says Hyper. Yeah, we like Hedron. I've only done an overview of Hedron. I haven't gone next level on Hedron. But it seems like you can stake your, you can, for new stakes in particular, you can put your hex and never have to sell it is kind of the idea from there. So, yeah, I'm still open-minded. Still got to do more research around it, to be honest. But it's definitely something on the radar. Matt Barley says, yeehaw, RH will rip Shifty for shreds. Can Max Kaiser also join? One would hope so, Matt. One would hope so. And Brett McMillan, that would be so funny, eh Matt? Raining here in West Auckland, says Brett. Oh, West Auckland. Yeah, that's always raining out in West Auckland there. And Ahoy says, hyper, nice one. Tavern says, total cost of the diamond, including auction fees, 55555. Yeah, I think it was. Richard said that there was going to be a 20% premium, of course, to get the actual diamond to his wherever he's going to hold the thing up. It's going to need even more security with having that thing around. So very nice. Nice on the staking. Did you check out the Staker app? Yeah, definitely check out Staker app. Staker app is in the links in the video description. Get that because it's really a great way of monitoring. SB, if you want to get that Staker app, it's in the video description. Over 100,000 people using it. They're coming out with version 2 anytime now. And of course, it's going to be Pulsechain compatible. It's going to have Pulsechain stuff in it. It's going to be really cool. The cool thing is you can paste your Ethereum address in there. Never put your private keys in any application, especially on the mobile phone. But you can just paste your public Ethereum address in there, and it will show up all your stake details and all that sort of stuff. It really is cool. Well worth it. You can also set up a smart wallet in there if you so choose, and you can do staking in there and try and win some of the competitions if you're doing a 5-for-5 stake in there. There are a few options. Definitely check that out. Well worth it. All right, so what else we got going? And Tin Top's in the house. What's up, Mexican? What's up? Hey, good to see you, Tin Top. And what else we got? Hyper says, really like the ability to move stakes around. Yeah, it is very cool. It is cool, that part of it, through NFTs. Nice on there. All right, so let's jump over to the next section. We're going to get into Peter Schiff. So this is who Richard's going to be up against. Peter Schiff, obviously, chief economist and global strategist. And some might say the doom and gloom man as well. But, he's very knowledgeable. And I'm sure he's going to end up being right at some stage because we know that there's been a lot of money printing. And the Fed has pretty much boxed themselves in. So that's going to be pretty interesting. He's got 650,000 followers on Twitter. He also gets on TV a lot. So he's very, very, very well known. So definitely check out Peter Schiff there on Twitter. Let's jump over to the highest of stakes. Now I'm going to just tune out my page here. So let's pull this out. I'm going to remove this and add this in. Let me just bam. Yeah, look, there we are. This is me. I'm purely huge. So let's just stop screening that. We're going to share that. And we're going to go to there, and we're going to get high stakes, and I think we're in the right tab. Hopefully I'm on the right tab here. Bam. And there we are. So this is the first video I'm going to play. This here is one of 3 videos. So we're going to look at this. Here we go.
Sure y'all will like the plate. When you come around, you might recognize this other one here. There we go.
So this is epic. I mean, this is Richard's car here on the front there. And then, of course, the Hex.com black car looks amazing there. And this is for the highest of stakes video, so pretty cool. So I really like that. We're going to jump to the next one. And we're going to jump out of there. And we're going to add in the next one there. Let us go. We're going to share the screen. And we're going to go up to the top one here. Oh, the wrong one there. Let me just jump on to the next one. We're going to full screen that. Bam. Oh, can't full screen it yet because I have to share it. What have I done there? I've really lost all my stuff now. Let's find my other sheets here. Let's go. Oh boy. Okay, got them back. I lost myself there on the studio. This happens sometimes. Let us pull that up and let's share this one now. Hopefully that works. Bam. All right, so we've got the full one here, and hopefully this one works too. Let's go. Bam. So this video here is of them trying to find roads that they can film on for the highest of stakes film documentary. And what they do is they end up getting permissions to do road closures so they can do the filming. Pretty cool. I'm not sure if they actually close this road, but other roads they were definitely looking for roads to close on, so they have awesome cinematic pictures for the highest of stakes film. It's going to be truly epic, folks, and it's so cool. All right, let's get out of that one, and we're going to jump onto the third one. Let me just pull that up in a second. We're going to remove that and add. Let's move that add off there, and we've got one. This is the last one, folks. So let's share that screen. Bam, and there we go. All right, so cool. We've got the final one. This one here is the badass one, of course. This one here, it's got the Richard Hart himself and the film crew. It looks amazing. There we are. Look at that, folks. We've got this truck there with the old, I can't remember what this is called, actually, a hanger and a big arm on it, basically, with the cameras on it. Look at this stuff. It's like so hardcore. All hydraulic, of course, moving around. They probably move the camera around, do all sorts of angles around the car. Truly epic cinematic visuals there. We've got cars there. Looks like they've done a road closure. We'll check this out. There we go.
Here we go. We got Fernando, our DP on the motor crane. How's this thing doing?
It's doing great.
Doing good.
Beautiful shot, yeah.
Beautiful shots. Come back over here. Let me show you. Here's Brent. We're clearing traffic here in between shots. We got Brent. There's Brent. And then over here, we have the lovely Ferrari with the man himself.
What's up, man? How's it going? Enjoying this beautiful day, beautiful weather, nice and sunny, dry.
Ladies, is he taking it slow?
No.
Here we go. We got Fernando.
So the cool thing I like is this motor crane, as he called it. It looks so cool. I mean, the film of that must be it's going to be so incredible, some of these shots.
DP on the motor crane. How's this thing doing?
It's doing great.
Doing good.
Beautiful shot, yeah.
Beautiful shots. Back over here. Let me show you. Here's Brent. We're clearing traffic here in between shots. We got Brent.
So this car here looks so cool. I love this black Ferrari, I think it is, isn't it? So it looks amazing.
There's Brent, and then over here we have the lovely Ferrari with the man himself.
What's up, man? How's it going? Enjoying this beautiful day, beautiful weather, nice and sunny, dry.
Ladies, is he taking it slow?
No.
So that's kind of classic Richard, right? The fast car, the girls, the cool outfit, and all the cool stuff. So and just full of life. I love it. It's great stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I had to show that stuff. So very nice. Let us get out of there, and we're going to move that, and let's get rid of that. Bam, and add the share. We're going to do that too. All right, cool. Let's add that back in. Boom. All right, so nice stuff there. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. If you hadn't seen those, they were very cool on the highest of stakes on Twitter. So if you want to see THoS and documentary on Twitter, you can see those for yourself. But very cool. Had to definitely look at that. Now, the other thing, of course, is Daytona's coming up. And, of course, it's running out 8 days and 20 minutes until Daytona. And, of course, we're optimistic that the driver will get through to be able to race for that. And that will be held in 8 days and 20 minutes. So, looking cool. Completely sold out, of course. So, it's going to be pretty mad. And, of course, if I'm not sure if our driver probably is driving directly against Floyd Mayweather. I think they raced all the field half and half on different races. So it should be racing against that as well. And wouldn't it be cool if our driver makes the day man oh man and then goes on to win the race? That would be the ultimate, right? That's that you can't beat publicity like that. Hex would be everywhere. So definitely get out there with your best wishes for this, because this is huge, potentially huge. So this is looking really good on that. So nice on there. All right, so let's jump over to the HexPo conference. Obviously, this is run by Matty Allen. Now, we talked about all these things on the time frame. So all these things are coming up. We've talked about Daytona there coming up on the 20th of February, which is only 8 days away. We've talked about the Twitter room, the funding room, we're funding Jim. And of course, now we're talking about, we'll talk about the highest of stakes. That's that blue line. The blue line there is the highest of stakes, goes way out into the future, out into 2023. January 23 is the when we're expecting at the moment, but it may very well come up earlier than that. Especially given the big fundraise, $500,000 added today, which means we're also going to get more film stuff from that too. So pretty cool. All right, so that's looking good. We've also got the HexPo conference. This is in March, so this is going to be exciting too. And of course, it's going to be at this resort here, the Excalibur MGM Resorts here in Las Vegas. So it's going to be pretty cool. And obviously, 600 people. You can still get tickets, I believe. and I think you get them at the hexticket.com. So that's where you get tickets there. Now, this is you just have to type in Hex Conference. I'll try and put the links in the video description after the live stream, but that's where you get them. And awesome stuff. So you can also check this stuff out on Matty Allen's YouTube channel. Pretty cool. So you can see there's so much coming, folks. Lots of stuff being worked on in real time. There's lots of stuff coming up with big things. So these are big. These are not trivial. There's also UFC fighters sponsored. That sort of stuff's coming out with sponsored by Kinetics team. There's lots of things playing out, and it really is exciting to see this play. Cool. The other big thing, of course, is the Hex Investment Trust. Now, we've actually talked about this. This is Kinetics team. We talk about this in here. This is the green copy here, the HexScale Trust. Of course, this is hexinvestmentstrust.com. And, of course, you can see at the moment, this is just in the draft. But this is what is getting very, very close. They're getting so close with the PPA that they'll be able to get a private placement out there. Legal documents, basically. They have to get all the lawyers crossing stuff, taking them a bit longer than they probably thought. But that is in play. And, of course, once they have that, they'll be able to accept the money into the trust. And then they'll be able to go buy Hex, folks. Get crazy. They're going to be able to buy Hex and then stake it 5, folks. It is going to be crazy stuff. This going to be in the market for the Hex, man. It's going to be so good. So we're expecting quite a lot of high net worth people through them. They did indicate in November last year that they had $1 billion investment network with advisors in there. So very good chance that they'll reach their private targets, fundraising targets very quickly. So I think we can be fairly bullish about how fast this will pick up money inside the trust. And so I'm excited about it. And then, of course, success breeds success. You get more marketing, and away you go, right? So very, very cool. And people can buy out of that trust, just like you do with an ETF, where you have a trust price and you can just trade in and out shares. So pretty nice on that. All right, cool. Let us get into where we're going. We'll just get back into there. So that's the Hex Investment Trust. I reckon this website looks pretty cool, but once again, it's just a full website coming soon. So we'll wait for that to come in. It's got the Hex price down the bottom there, which I think is pretty cool too. So nice. All right, so let us jump over to Richard. Of course, this was the source here for the big thanks to While on Set here in Spain. That's where they're doing a lot of those films that we saw. Rack and Rochelle made a very generous donation to the highest of stakes and really moved the needle of where we can take this. Now, Kinetics and that confirmed that it was $500,000 that was actually sent for this. So it's pretty cool. And originally, if I remember rightly, the Hex God Whale did $500,000 way back in the day. So a big shout out to our two biggest whales. As we know, if we go to the top leader board, this is Rack and Rochelle at the top whale. And, of course, the Hex God Whale is number 2 there. So a big shout out to these guys making things happen is in a big way, really committing some decent big money to this. A big shout out to Rack and Rochelle. Very, very cool. So looking good there, folks. And yeah, very cool. Now, finally, let's get on to liquid loans here. Now, I don't want to go through this, but before we do this, I'm just going to catch up on the chat and make sure we get up to it. So Brendan says, let me just finish on that before we sneak onto that one. Taffrin's got the BAM. And nice background, says Brennan. Hey, nice one. Thanks for that. And do we know if the staker wallet will support Pulse and PulseX? Now, we know that it's going to have Pulsechain in version 2. When that goes live, it's going to have they'll probably just be able to toggle on the modules for that. And PulseX, I believe, is going to be there. I'm not 100% sure about the PulseX, but definitely the Pulsechain. Nice. And Vince says, nice cars. They are really nice cars for sure. Oh boy, says Taffrin. Bam. Yeah, absolutely crazy stuff there. RH was classic on BitBoy around the blockchain this morning. I can't wait to see a Peter Schiffy debate, says Tin Top. Nice one. On BitBoy, I didn't see that either. No, I didn't see that either. So interesting. Got to find it. Yeah. Beautiful ladies and cars, says Vinrix. Yep, that's the style. It makes in the black cut. Well, it's going to be, if you're doing a documentary, right, you've got to have a couple of the pretty girls on there, I guess is the way to look at it. Tin Top says, gonna have to quit my job to keep up with all these great Hex streamers, says Tin Top. Yeah, nice one. And SB in the house says, nice filming. It definitely was. Awesome, Rackham. Yeah, awesome. Rackham is awesome. Big shout out to Rackham. Now, if you're not familiar with Rackham, Rackham is this is Rackham here. You can see Rackham there. So that's Rackham there. So cool. Rackham is actually buying some really cool jet boats and things like that. And it's got all supercars. It really races it up. So you can see that here. racing his own supercar here, super fast. So that's an Aventa SVJ 63 model. That would be worth a mint for sure. But living the dream. So nice one. And now Rackham was actually background is that he was, I think he was pretty much on the streets. He's gone pretty much on the streets to being super wealthy. And his vision is to be the one of the biggest venture capital firms very shortly. And he, obviously with Pulsechain, that's probably one of the biggest ways that he's going to do that. Obviously, he's got other investments through the VC, but man, really cool. Tintop says T-shares are going to explode in price when the trust goes live. Yeah, that's right. So a lot of people, it's going to take off people off guard when you've got all these big high wealth people coming into. Sometimes they just tip their toes. They put a little bit into Hex and they just tip their toes and then they start ramping up pretty quickly. You might see $1 million buy here, $2 million buy here, something like that. And then they start going in even more depending on what they target. If they're going to target 10 million, 20 million, I just don't know what their appetite is, but definitely getting up into the big bucks for sure. And of course, the HexScale Trust is pretty much going to be a buyer, a non-stop buyer, a continual buyer. So it's going to keep buying, and staking 555 as money comes into the trust. And then of course that's a private trust. They're looking at going public trust, maybe getting listed on Nasdaq or something like that. They've got an expert that knows how to deal with the SEC and get that rush through quickly. So that's the next level too. That means people with IRAs and institutions can invest in through there because it's all based on a trust and they have that separation. They're not actually trading. So very, very cool. Matt and Barley says like, and Marco says when launch. Yeah, that's right. Patience is when launch. We're going to have more patience there, Marco. March is our earliest time frame, but we must be pragmatic about that final couple of stages there that we talked about. Or April. That's probably a better way to say it. Link to RH on around the blockchain today. Nice one. And there we are. So there's a link there. I'm not sure if I've got a link to that, but just follow that link if you want to check that out with Richard Hart. I seen that. And he's just laid to bed to show the show. So relax, says Brennan. Nice one. And Vince says, kudos to you, Hex Token. You are keeping up with all the Hex news. Great job. I appreciate that, Vin. Very, very cool. And can't wait to see after this stream. Yeah, it's going to be pretty cool. All right, so, hey, it's just started raining here. So someone said it was raining in West Auckland. It's raining where I am. It's just started raining. Maybe the whole country is raining here down under in New Zealand. When we get a lot of rain in New Zealand, because it's not that big a place, a couple of islands, two big islands, small island, a couple of little small ones around. When it rains, it pretty much rains over the whole place just about. It's kind of crazy. Very cool. All right, so that's what's going on there. Let's jump back to PulseX and have a look, refresh, and how we're getting on there. We'll see if we got up to the 121. No, $1,020,863,401 so far on the PulseX Sacrifice is the latest and greatest, and getting up there though for sure. What else we got going there? So 106.05, we're doing pretty well. Let's go over to the where was it going to finally? I was going over to going liquid lines here. So this is liquid lines. This is pretty much our final topic for the live stream. So we've got the 3 tokens in liquid lines protocol. So this was published by Liquid Lines on Twitter. And it was pretty good summary. So PLS, native coin of Richard Hart's upcoming Ethereum fork Pulsechain. Holders can borrow against their PLS by collateralizing it with the minted USDL. Now, see, there's no problem. No, this could be an application they could use for PulseX, right? So this is a possible solution or one of many solutions. One of many solutions that you can use for PulseX. So pretty cool. Holders can borrow against their PLS by collateralizing with minting USDL. Well, you could have holders can borrow against their PLSX and do that too. I mean, it's it could be fine. Will hopefully perform even better than ETH price wise. So that's what they're looking at the moment compared to Liquidity, this is a fork of that. And I think the biggest problem they had on that chain was the ETH fees on that one. So definitely one to look at. USDL, algorithmic stablecoins native to liquid loans. So cool. And so that's what the coin you basically collateralize your PLS. You get USDL, so you never have to sell your PLS as such as one possibility. And of course, you get the stable coin USDL, always redeemable for $1 US worth of PLS. So if PLS goes down, you're still going to get $1 worth of PLS, so you get more PLS. So if you don't spend your USDL and the price of Pulse goes down, you can actually, you can redeem, you can go into market and buy more PLS and then put that back in. Some things you might want to do. Highly likely to be accepted by centralized exchanges for fiat off-ramping in the future. So they are working on centralized exchanges for fiat off-ramp. So that's a big plus for them. And of course, it's going to be super fast, super cheap on Pulsechain. So you're not going to have the issues that you have on Ethereum. and similar protocols have on an all-time stability, providing APR of 26.3%. Now, we looked at through liquidity the other day. You can check out my live stream on that. It would have liquidity on it, I think. And, of course, the APRs were about that for sure. Native liquid, native reward token, this loan is a dual token system on this app. A native reward token of liquid loans protocol. When staked in staking pool, it collects the system's borrowing and redemption fees. Similar protocols have an all-time average staking APR of 165%. So APR means annual percentage return. So that's pretty much like a manual return there. Very cool. So 165. So pretty cool. I actually think this is going to be a lot more bullish things for it compared to liquidity on Ethereum, because it's got a lot of strategies people can adopt on Pulsechain with a frictionless cost there, with Pulse being so cheap. So I think that's going to work out pretty well. Doug's here, it's got when sacrifice. Liquid Line says very soon. That was 3 hours ago. So the sacrifice is still not open yet. But of course, if you want to, I think that it fits in pretty well here on the overall map. We've got liquid loans with the lending. I think it sort of plays its part. And of course, a lot of people want to borrow against, they want to put their Pulse in there, get the USDL and go buy more Pulse or go buy more PulseX or even more Hex. So that people got those sort of strategies. The other way, of course, you can just stay on the platform and try and earn those dual tokens and the fees that you get on there. As the return says. So this is the one here. So if you want to get a referral link, feel free to use my link in the video description. I'm going to go pretty hard on this and spread the word. I do think this is going to be a pretty good value opportunity. Now, there's going to be a lot of projects thrown at us all in the Hex and Pulsechain, PulseX community. So you have to do your investment due diligence and be very critical of every project that comes your way. Typically, the best strategy is the safest strategy, right? So it means doing very little and just holding on to your bags, maybe staking with your Pulse with the validators, things like that. So just take that into account. And obviously, if PulseX is going to have the opportunity to have a staking on there for the incentive token, then you just stake it in there is the easiest way of getting more incentive token, maybe buy more PulseX with that, stuff like that. So typically, that is the general strategy I typically promote. As soon as you start taking into some of the third-party dApps, there's going to be many that come our way. You take on more risk, right? So risk reward. If you end up wrong, you're going to end up losing. If you end up right, you do gain more. But once again, the safest strategy is typically using the easiest place. Get a bit more volume by staking, and then of course wait for the price to go up. Hold, have those diamond hands, and let the price do its thing, and you'll be pretty happy rather than trading. And obviously, those people in Hex that held the course, they have done super well, right? At one point, if you look at the highest price, if you assume it was 56 cents, that's over 1,000,000% gain that they did. And of course, on the X's at the moment, that would have been over 20,000 X if you had staked as well, 10,000 X without it. So pretty amazing on that from the all-time low. And so, yeah, that's the sort of stuff that you can take into account. I was going to make one more comment on that. I just forgot what it was. There we are. Sometimes I do forget stuff. Woohoo! You guys know names is normally the ones I normally forget. So nice. All right, so that's pretty much it. And yeah, that is a summary of everything. We're going to jump back to the PulseX price. Sorry, the Hex price. And we're going to probably end up there. And I'm going to get in some of the comments. We're coming up to an hour and 12 minutes. Typically, I do about an hour and 20. So going pretty good on that. Ben says, I can't wait. Looking prime for a good time. Absolutely, Ben. And Brenton says, raining here as well. Hex token lightning just took out my internet. No way. That's crazy. Man, oh man. I tell you where lightning is really terrifying, and that is is it the Midwest of the United States? They have tornadoes and lightning like out of the horror movies, don't they, over there? That's Alice in Wonderland territory, isn't it? I think it is. Matt and Barley says, in the land of the long white clouds. Yeah, it's got a long white cloud. Typically does have a lot of clouds. That's why it gets that name. Dom says, whoop, 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 let's go. A nice one, Dom. And Tim Top says, all this great news next few weeks are going to be fun. Hey, yeah, and let's talk about this. You like I come back to it. You got Funding Jim, you got Kinetics team, you got so many people out there doing some amazing things. Maddie Allen, all of them, all of those people out there. They're not just doing a lot of content. They're actually out there spreading the word in powerful ways, not just in simple ways, but powerful ways. So, yeah, definitely hats off to all of those people out there doing that stuff. And obviously, we've had a burst, as I always say, in content creators. And, we need lots more. We need if we're going to reach millions, if we reach millions, we need thousands. You think like that. You need hundreds, thousands to reach millions. And so definitely get out. You can play a role if you're thinking about getting out into content creation. It's never too late. In fact, you're at the right time. And what you find is that with content creators, we also go through waves of people that have things change in their life. Maybe they can't do content creation anymore. And maybe they're having children or doing other stuff, so there is always opportunities out there. And like I say, we're just 2.2 years now into Hex, and now we're into the Pulsechain, PulseX, and all the good stuff, incentive token, and all the rest that goes with that. It is a pretty exciting place to be. The other side, of course, is so much to come on the roadmap. So we look at this. We look at the roadmap here. We look at what was being built at the moment. But of course, there's lots more coming. MetaMask enhancements, margin trading, aggregators. There's a lot of things on Richard's list that he would like to tick off. If he doesn't do it, he'd like other people to do it. Tick off there. And exchange, gateways, all this sort of stuff is going to be pretty epic. So there's no stop. There's nothing. This is going to keep building and building on this. So it's going to be so exciting to see that. Good point there though, Tin Top. Woohoo, says Dom. And what else we got? It's now it's got the stuff. Welcome, Dom, and my latest on board. Hey, well done. It's now. So welcome, Dom, has just gotten into the community. Very, very cool. And we've got all the emojis there from It's Now looking really good on the chat there. Very cool. I'm going to post some myself. Let me go. If you're a Hex Token channel member, post some of those emojis. Let's get in party time. But there we are. There's a couple from me for sure. And Tin Top says safer strategy is just staking and liquid loans and Hex. Yeah. Once again, the two things about the third party at dApps, so liquid loans, what's the other one? Liquid loans and I just forgot it now. What's the other one? That one for Hex. What's it called? Oh, just forgotten. Someone else said it at the top here. I forgot what it's called. Anyway, basically you don't have to sell the tokens, right? You just don't have to sell the tokens. That's probably the good part there. Liquid loans says, yeah, liquid loans. Tin Tot says that lake between two mountains in Venezuela has lightning every single day, most lightning anywhere on Earth. Is that right? I'm going to check that out, Tin Tot. That's pretty interesting. And nice one there. Salmon SB says, Hex Token, the backside view of the T-storms on the South Dakota farm are amazing. I bet they are. That would be something. Hedron, thanks, Finn. So Hedron is the one. So Hex is where Hedron is where you don't have to sell your Hex, and you can use the platform tokens on Hedron. Ryan's in there too. Thank you guys for that. Appreciate that. And of course, liquid loans is for never having to sell your Pulse. So there's some different options there. Hex Ken's in there too. So I got tripled down. On the reminder, but I do appreciate that. Thank you so much. Simple Believers in there with the rockets. So looking good on there. Very cool. To the moon or to another galaxy. I like that. That's really cool. You can imagine all the big names they're gonna hear about Hex and Pulsechain. It's gonna be crazy, man. You're gonna have all these pop stars. You're gonna have everybody trying to get in on the crypto. Now, big thing. They've got the midtime show. What's it called for the football? American football. We'll have the big midtime show. Sort of a video of Arnold Schwarzenegger pretending some sort of Greek god. They are going to. They're having a lot of crypto coming into those ads now. I heard the commentator talking about crypto, and of course, this is what I mean. Hex and Pulsechain are perfectly positioned to benefit from this uptake. So it's starting to filter through. The crypto is starting to filter through into the mass marketing, and of course, that's the first sign of global virality. Because we all know that a lot of people just don't know anything about crypto, right? They're clueless. You talk about a lot of people that are what we call no coiners. They know nothing about it, and of course, that's still the majority of the world population. So it's still early days. And like I say, I think we're probably about halfway through the maturity phase there. And then, because we're going to get a lot of the adoption is starting to come up from now, right? So now we're going to start seeing that adoption rate as percentage of world global population really rise. So it's going to be fascinating to see. Because we used to have the high adoption. People used to be in Japan, South Korea, Turkey's high adoption user, places like that. And of course, now we're seeing it really spread around the world. So it's going to be pretty cool. It also creates opportunities for everybody. No matter where you are, you can earn an income now innovatively that you could never have earned before. And of course, that's freeing up people to have a much better life. And of course, Richard's all about freedom, all about taking trading out, stop the stress, just your time in the market with no expectations. We'll leave it for the future, pay your future self. All that good stuff is coming. So it's very nice. Vintrix says soccer, football, boxing players. Yeah, that's right. So with lots of those, we've got all those people invested as 5 for 5 in Hex. We've got basketball players, really are. We're getting a lot of sports stars into Hex, and they're going to spread the word about Pulsechain, PulseX as well. And Brandon's got yeah, I don't know, some sex workers as well, I heard. Yeah, I bet there's always some sex workers probably doing it as well. So just like they do real estate, right? I don't know, was it that movie, the big call, or the big oh man, I can't believe I'm forgetting these names. I watch these movies all the time. And basically they did that. They were doing some investigative stuff about the price market crashing in 2007, 2008, and of course they did some investigation. They ended up going in. All these ladies that worked at this strip bar or whatever, they all had property portfolios. It was pretty funny. And these shot all these guys, but that's kind of how bad the market had got. Everyone could get pretty much zero money down on the properties, and they were all highly stuck, highly leveraged. The Big Short, Brazil says the Big Short. That's the one, the Big Short. So the market, they were getting zero money down on the properties. This is the Big Short, yeah, and big money down on the properties, and of course there was a lot of people not being able to pay. So incomes were coming down, the rents were going up, and of course that was like a deck of cards. And the AA loans, the BB loans, the CC loans, all sorts of stuff, and all fell down. THoS says Big Short, yeah, the Big Short, yeah. Hey, I should keep forgetting some of these names because you guys, it's like a word jeopardy. So yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. So hey, if you haven't seen the Big Short movie, definitely watch it. It's educational as well as entertaining. There are a couple of, if you're not into too many adult themes, there are a few little adult themes in it, but it's not too bad. Pretty mostly family orientated, if I could say that. So yeah, definitely in this case. Precisely, variable interest rates is what killed them. Yeah, variable interest rates, that's true. So nice. All right, so we're up to an hour and 20, folks. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. It's been a really good live stream. I think we've covered a lot of stuff. So if you're obviously, a lot of people out there are busy, and so I hope that this content really keeps you up to date. I know that many of you are up to date all the time, but this is hopefully for the rest of you, this keeps you up to date because it's really, really cool. We're just ramping up. You can see things are just ramping up, and it's getting exciting, more exciting every day. The Big Short, nice. Yeah, it says Matt. Cheers, I'll check it out soon, Brennan. Matt says also inside job Doco is awesome. Yeah, inside job Doco. I'll try and look at that. The rate started really small, but then they cranked up and people couldn't afford their monthly payments. Exactly, Brazilji. So then it was a deck of cards, a house of a deck of cards. Yeah, Big Short is definitely a good movie to see for that. So nice. All right, thanks for watching, everybody. Let me just post this out. I've got to say one more thanks to everybody, of course. Let me get into that. And all right, so thanks for watching. We've got Morris says awesome update. Appreciate that, Morris. And thanks for watching. We've got Sam and SB says take care, Hex Tons. Nice. And Kristen says fabulous stream. I appreciate that. And Martin says smash that bell as well. So yeah, hit the subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. If you want to join as a member, of course, hit the join button. We've got Pulsekins, Hexkins, and the Richard Hart Club. And of course, we'll be here promoting Pulsechain, PulseX, and Pulse and Hex well for many years in the future. And for many of you know, I've been out here doing this for a couple of years already. So it's going to be a lot of fun. A special shout out to our latest member, of course, Kryptonic Newbie. A big shout out to you. Appreciate it. And all your great comments in the chat as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, enjoy yourself. Take care, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Bye for now.